What's up, fam? Welcome back to this week's episode of Off the Reservation, a show that's staying aloft with a happy thought. I'm your number one wizard, Mal.
I'm Al.
And I'm Captain ACAB.
Dang.
How
are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. We're doing good.
Man, not bad.
It's been a little bit of a time since we've... Wait, no, we
got together last week. We already did the, hey, we were gone for 2 weeks thing, man.
Yeah, that was last week. Okay.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's been a week.
Any update on your car? I've been waiting to ask you.
No, it's, they found it.
It's working itself out.
Yeah, they found it. They found the guy. He had hot-wired it.
They found the guy?
Yeah, he was driving the car. He was living in it for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Oh, no way. We didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't tell you that?
Yeah, you didn't tell us that.
Dang. Well, they found it like 2 weeks ago.
Found Benny Bustamante living there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh man.
They were like, "Do you want to make a statement for the hearing?" I'm like, "Nope."
You're all dang.
I'm good. I don't want to deal anymore with this person that I need to. No, they found him. They found the car. But
what part of town did they find the car in?
I don't know exactly.
South Valley.
I think so, because that was the tow yard that picked it up. So
yeah,
it's possible that it was in that area. It was still running when we got there. We checked it. It was still like you saw the freaking hot wired on the bottom, and it was still running.
Man.
The tires were all torn up. Like I'm pretty sure he was in like a pursuit with the police, maybe.
He just went off road
and they got spiked.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was kind of sad. I was kind of wishing I didn't see the vehicle.
Oh man, you seeing your stuff all messed up.
Well, I mean, you've gotten that out of the way now, so now you can go on and
now we can just move forward.
Yeah,
it's a cleanse here.
You've already unlocked that achievement.
That's something I hope nobody ever has to. I mean, it's something you hope you never have to experience.
It's Albuquerque.
Once in my lifetime is good.
Yeah,
good enough for me.
Man, I remember I had my car broken into, and like I came back out of my apartment, and like there was just my stuff all on the floor.
Oh,
was that
like,
the Mustang?
Sucks, man.
And like there was just like CDs and stuff like just everywhere. Like they went through like my glove box, like my paperwork, registration, like everything was just blowing through the parking lot.
Geez,
like when you get paid and like I'd rip off my pay, like my check stub, and then like go in to get like cash my check,
checks.
And like literally like my pay stubs are just like blowing in the wind.
Jeez, man,
and, like
let's get all your info.
I came around the corner and like came rolling and stumbled to my feet, and I was like, what? And like I picked it up and I was like, did this fall out of my pocket? And so then I came around the corner more and I saw just like stuff everywhere.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
Do you remember back like in the day when people would be like, oh, if you have like CDs in your car, don't leave them out because somebody will break in and like steal your CDs or steal like your Discman or something?
That was the valuables.
Yeah, those were the valuables people stole back in the day.
Yeah. Or
like your radio. And then they'd go and sell it somewhere or like pawn it somewhere. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, like you leave like CDs, like a deck of CDs in your car. People are like, "What? This loser's got CDs?"
They're like, "This isn't worth my time. This guy's working with CDs in here."
Yeah. So.
But
I mean, like that's
it's weird when your stuff gets broken into. You feel like total invasion of privacy. You're like, somebody was in here. Like when I found the vehicle, I was like, I'm thankful like they didn't recover this earlier and they were like gonna give it back to me because like, holy crap, man, whatever this guy was doing in there, I don't want to know. It was like he just like the whole thing smelled like Axe body spray, and then sure enough in the back seat there was a can of Axe body spray. I was like, oh,
just like 15. He was actually 13. Huffing Axe body spray.
He was a middle schooler. Freaking. Yeah, do you remember
in fact,
that?
we actually have him here today. He's going to be our new guest this week.
Animals and Scandals. No, like, do you remember that middle school when Axe body spray and that like Tag body spray came out?
Yeah.
All the kids in like the middle school locker room, like at gym or whatever, like all over, dude. You walk in.
I remember being like your guys' camp counselor for summer camp, and like I just remember seeing some of those kids just like, and you would see it almost like a vape pen, like just like everywhere, like
they were like double fisting the.
Yeah.
all over.
Well, like, okay, so like in middle school, I remember I was in class and I was like sitting there. All of a sudden, everyone's like, "Why does it smell like Axe body spray?" And I turn around, and there's like 3 kids in the back corner of the classroom, and they're just have their T-shirt rolled up, and they were like sitting there under their desk, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "You want some?" And I was like, "Nah, man. I had what was it? Walk hard moment. Like, you don't want none of this, do we? It makes you feel real good." And I was like, "Nah, man. I don't want none of that."
Wait, they were huffing Axe
In class, yeah. And I was like,
man,
yeah. So
that's
I don't.
classic Albuquerque middle school.
Yeah, was. Yeah, that was. The kind of school we went to.
I was thinking about.
You gotta love those inner city schools, man.
Oh man, and they think that it's hard out in the no.
I know. little nod to last week's episode.
Yeah. No,
it's kind of funny we were talking about that. I remember in middle school, like being a part of like a strong arm robbery, but not being a part of it. Like, do you remember me telling you guys that story about how? There was that part of the middle school where you just knew not to walk that corridor to not get stuck because there was only one way in and one way out.
Right?
Yeah, Cleveland, where that chain link fence was. Yeah. And so there was that essay named Sad Face that everybody just knew, like, oh, you avoid him, right?
Sad Face.
And so me and my friends, I'll say his name, me and my friend Steve, because I don't even know Steve anymore. I'm walking through.
Steve is cool.
And Sad Face just comes around the corner, like he was waiting, like he could hear our footsteps, like through the echo, through the hall, or through the alleyway.
Yeah.
And he comes walking through, and he sees me behind Steve, and like he makes eye contact with me, and I instantly know, like, something's gonna happen. And so like we keep walking, and then he instantly goes to Steve's pockets, doesn't say anything, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hold him." And like I'm looking like, what? And my friend Steve turns around and looks at me like, what's going on? And like he starts ruffling through his pockets and takes his money, and then literally like just turns around and walks off towards the snack bar. And like me and Steve stop and like look at each other, and he's like, you just want to go? And I was like, yeah, let's go. And so like we just turned around and walked off. But like that was just like a daily occurrence. Like you just got shooken down for your loot, man.
Wait, was Steve Euro American?
Yeah, he was Euro American. What's funny though is like I recognize Sad Face from like the free lunch line, right? Like I remember for like the first few weeks, like showing up and getting free lunch line. Yeah, so like he like saw me and like he's like, oh, I know that native kid ain't got no money. He was getting free lunch with me just a few days ago.
Yeah. Get that reduced lunch price.
But I just remember him looking at me and he's like, hold him. Like me and him had like planned this out, and I'm like,
you're like, Steve, I'm sorry. I had nothing to do with that, man. I just need you to know that.
Just start holding him.
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah, did you hold him?
No, man. I just like stood there. Like I was kind of in shock. Because at first I thought he was going to take my stuff too. So like I was like, oh, man. Because like, back in the day, your dad would just give you like $20 and he's like, make it last. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're like, oh man, that last like that Friday, you're like down to like $2. And you're like,
well, so here's the question: is like there's you and Steve and Sad Face. Sad Face is at this moment like outmatched. Like it's 2-on-1 now, but neither of you like squared up. Like I don't know. Like I mean, I imagine like people nowadays, like especially the way they are now, would be like, hey, why didn't you guys like team up and like take out Sad Face? Like, but I mean,
well,
that
like
was
looking back
90s.
at it, like I guess if he would have tried to jack my loot, I probably would have been like, fuck no, and we're like throwing hands, right?
Yeah.
But like he just like looked at me like, hey, thanks for your help, and like turned around and like walked off to go get his food, right? So it was like he got what he wanted and just he was out. Like,
so you had like the Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got the Spider-Man 1 scene where he's like, "Hey, stop that guy! He's robbing him." Yeah. And he just steps to the side,
The guy! Stop that guy!
You could have took that guy out.
You could have taken that guy apart.
This is not my problem.
Yeah, I forgot the part where that was my problem.
I don't know.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
I think I was more mad at myself because everybody knew you didn't walk through that and like dawdle. You know what I mean? You went through there fast, or like you went through with like a group of people.
Yeah.
You weren't like you didn't get caught in that spot.
Isn't it weird? Like in those days, you knew the people to look like
It's like survival.
You just
bro.
knew, like, you just knew who to avoid and when to avoid it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
If you like turned down a hall and you saw some kids, you were like, I'll find another way around, because you're like, I don't know what they would do. You know,
Yeah.
like you just know that they're like crazy enough to do some stuff to
But
you.
see,
You know,
like that was my introduction to like knowing like I had the brown card. Like I was brown and like I could like float through worlds unscathed.
pass.
You know what I mean? Like I could go to like the shitty part of town and like buy tires for like $20 cheaper. You know what I mean? And not get
no one
juiced.
was gonna bother you.
Yeah.
How many Steves have you had to hold down in your life? It's just part of the.
Like I just like stood there. I was like, "What's going on, man? Like,
Oh man,
am I next? Like I don't got any money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I don't think I ever had that kind of experience in like high school coming up, or like middle school or anything like that. It was mostly like getting picked on by like the white kid. You know, like I had a white kid who came running around and like smacked me in the back of the head and pulled my hair. Like this dude, he tried to put a gum in my hair. It was the same kid for like a month, and eventually I caught him. Well, he teamed up. There was another Hispanic kid, and he thought it was funny, so he tried to like team up with him, and I chased the little Hispanic kid down, knocked him on the ground, and like kicked the heck out of him. And then like the skinny little white kid came and knocked me off of him, and was like, after that they left me alone. But I mean, like,
it's weird. It's something like it's like that. You kind of have to like prove yourself for a minute, you know, for people to stop. Like, know that you're not someone to mess with, you know.
Yeah. And I think that was the thing about like you had like people you avoided. I had like an actual bully.
see, I think more like the neighborhood that we lived in middle school was like right on, or I guess the address that we used to go to middle school or high school was like right there on the border of like the subsidized
address?
housing and like, you know, nice neighborhoods. And so that feeder school that we went to had those subsidized housing units that were just full of like you know, MS-13 members, or their parents were MS-13 members, and so their kids went to there.
Yeah.
And so then they just like ran roughshod over the entire school.
Yeah.
And so then when we went to high school, it was a little, or I guess when I went to high school, it was a little different. It like, it was more passive aggressive. Do you know what I mean? Because like Mal said, it was like more like just passive aggressive racism, or passive, just, you know, not
it wasn't as blatant.
yeah,
full-on.
like,
It was-
oh,
it was
I'm
more
just gonna
white
strong
collar.
arm rob you.
Yeah,
But no.
there was some dark alleys that everybody said stay out of there. Teachers avoided. No.
Yeah.
Well, that's like I guess it would be like the white collar versus like the blue collar kind of thing. Like we you know, the middle school we all went to was in that kind of that realm of like,
Yeah, it's interesting because you think about it now in that school district now, like there's definitely, even back then it was like, all right, so the school we went to was the more rough, for sure, the more rough of the middle schools that like fed into the high school.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, like when you got to high school, it kind of mellowed out because
Yeah.
it wasn't all just like intense people there, you know?
Yeah.
You got a little bit of the like more of like a I don't know, preppier school or whatever, you know. It kind of mellowed out the population, you know.
Yeah.
But in middle school, like everybody knew that middle school we went to was a little rough, you
It
know.
was like a Wild West.
I
man.
mean, I saw kids huffing axe, and in high school I saw kids snorting cocaine. You know what I mean? Like two different kinds of things. You can tell at school by the drugs they do.
Jeez. I remember there was this in middle school. There was somebody that was. I don't want to talk about this.
Oh, no
Yeah,
snitching, no snitching on the podcast.
Yeah, no, I don't know who it was. All right, so there was a guy that was like going around and
Just say his name was Steve again.
No, I don't even know who this person was. I don't even know who this guy. It could have been anybody, but like they were going around and vandalizing with feces.
Oh
The
my
bathrooms.
Oh.
Like that's the kind of place like we were at.
Yeah.
But like kids at the school started to call it the crap caper. Because it was like the crap caper hit the bathroom by the cafeteria, you know?
Oh my
like,
god, that's the worst. Like kids like come up with like a catchphrase and it just like lives in infamy forever. There's probably kids at that middle school still talking about it.
Like,
Maybe,
yeah, it was
yeah.
just like, why would you do this? But somebody was.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you, like, okay, so because I've been into like all that serial killer stuff, like
Yeah.
learning, like that's one of the signs of a kid who's like got all these other, you know, that's a
It's got
symptoms.
issues.
That's a symptom of like deeper issues. Like
Jeffrey Dahmer right there.
I know that's what they say. So I mean, you never know. We could have been going to middle school with
What's-
the crap
It's
caper
kind of
could have
funny
been.
you're talking about like a crap caper. So, like, I had a friend whose mom was a vendor at the flea market, right? And so, like, he would always like she like had like family in Mexico that would like ship her all kinds of like flea market stuff, like
Yeah.
poppers, pinatas, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Oh, poppers, the little snappy things,
Yeah,
not the drug.
I don't know about those, man.
Okay.
So then, like, quite literally, like, she would get those stink bombs. Do you remember seeing those?
yeah,
Those like
yeah.
they were like in a vial. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And so he was like notorious for taking them and chucking them on the roof right by the air conditioner units. I'm not joking.
That's
Or like
so
just dropping them
smart.
in the hall and like shut down
Right,
like
the HVAC system.
and like he would get them from his mom. So like, I mean, I was no snitch. I never rat him out.
Yeah.
So like it happened for like all 3 years of middle school, just like all
That
the
dude's
time.
a legend.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I had a friend who had one of those too. Like he had that. This is an elementary school, and he was like, "Hey, check this out," you know. And he like threw it against the wall, and we're like, "Oh, that smells awful," you know. So he's like, "Oh yeah, that's hilarious, right?" We're like, "Yeah, you know." And then he puts them in his pocket, and we go back to the class after recess, and he was like arguing with somebody. They were like messing around, and this kid like kicked his pocket. And we were all sitting down on the ground. It was like story time. And all of a sudden the smell, it was in one of the barracks.
Oh no!
And so all of a sudden the smell of like sulfur, eggs, just like
Yeah.
starts filling the room. And the teachers like, everybody's faces start to turn like,
Ew.
you know, and like they're like, okay, all right, let's stop laughing, you know.
Yeah.
The teacher, and then like a couple minutes later, she's like, okay, all right, let's all get up. We're gonna go outside. And I was like, ooh, I know what that was because I
Oh,
saw my friend's
man.
pocket. I could see a little bit of like the liquid that was in it, you
Yeah.
know. I was like, ooh, no.
Oh man.
That was so funny though, because I was like, that's exactly what would happen. So
Dude, the hijinks
you know,
of
Since
Yeah,
we're
you
telling
know.
stories out of school, I got one more for you guys. So, like, you know when they have like school book fairs, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like my kids just had a book fair at school, and like, you know, I gave them their book fair money, and like they went and got a book and like went on with their life, right? So like here I am, like 5th grade, and like it's book fair, and like, I mean, I didn't have any money, but like my parents raised me with morals. So like the teacher was like, anybody has money can go to the book fair. I'll walk you guys over. So like I stayed in the class, like thank God. And so like I'm sitting there with my friend, and like we're playing checkers, just like hanging out, talking. And the kid next to me was like, oh, I have money, and like went. Then came back, and like he did this like on and off like all week, right? Well, come to find out, the little shit was stealing books from the book fair, right? And like we're talking like he stole a felony amount of books, right?
What?
Yeah, like we're talking like a felony amount of books, right? So like we're sitting there, the class is going along, and then in comes walking in the APS officer, right, with the principal, and like I'm sitting there, and then they just come walking this way, and like they come and like they're like standing like right in front, like ready, like you know what I mean?
yeah.
And literally they're like, Mr. Such and Such, you got to come with us. And like they literally take him out, and like the teacher walks out with him, and like they're gone for like an hour, and then the lady who like was the attendance office lady comes in, and she's like, I'm just gonna finish the school day with you guys. What were you like, you know what I mean? And like it was like mayhem. People were just going nuts, talking like, what happened? Well, so one of the girls that was sitting in the room was like, I told him that he was gonna get in trouble, and everybody was like, what happened? he kept asking me like what books I wanted, and he would steal the book for me.
Dang.
And like everybody was like, what? And so like all over one book, that's what we all thought.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like he stole we're talking like hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of books from this book fair, right? So like this kid disappears, like leaves school for like a minute, right?
Yeah.
Like we grow up, like 5 years goes by, like right, like I'm like 25, and like I'm like downtown Albuquerque, like partying with my friends, and then you know how like you go to school with these people, so like people still stay in touch or like live in the neighborhood or whatever, right? So we're out, and like one of my friends is like, hey, do you remember that one kid who got busted for stealing books from the book fair? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, he's gonna meet us tonight. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, he's coming tonight. And like I was like, are you serious? And so like, you know, everybody's partying going on. Well, he ends up coming to the place, and like I'm all like kind of like faded, and I'm like, hey dude, I remember when you got busted for stealing those books. Like, what happened? And he goes, yeah, man, it ruined my life. Oh, yeah, and like totally took the like the funniness out of it. Like I thought it was just a big old joke, right?
Yeah.
Like not even the idea of the repercussions of what it did. And he's like, yeah, literally, like I got thrown into the boys' home, and I got taken up north to Springer. And I was like, are you serious? And like told me like it pretty much ruined his life. Literally,
wow.
Didn't get a GED or anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, because that girl wanted that book?
Not just that, like, I mean, homie stole like hundreds of dollars worth of books.
Jeez.
Like,
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure he probably had more problems than just stealing books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was like just classic story, man, of crap caper.
Crap paper.
Oh, geez, dude. Yeah, when you said that the officers walked in, I was thinking of what is that Seinfeld where the Newman steals the dog? You remember? And then he's like, I know the chunky who left this chunky or whatever, you know. So he takes the police over there. They open the door, and he's smoking a cigarette. He's like, what took you so long?
What took you so long?
The Book Fair Bandit.
Man.
The Book Fair Bandit, man. We got them all here. We got the crap capers. We got the Book Fair Bandits. That's just classic Albuquerque hijinks right there.
What's even more funny is like when I'm riding in the car with my kids, and like, Dad, tell me a story. And like I'm like trying to cycle through these stories in my head of like, nah, I can't tell them that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, good time.
Oh, man.
Well, we're glad you guys got to join us this week, and we want to remind you guys that we do have the merch store open. It is out there. It is.
If you haven't got yourself a T-shirt,
yeah, we got
hop on there and get
Off the Reservation.
Yeah,
we got Off the Reservation.
Sure do.
Glasses, mic, tape.
Yeah,
all the things you need in life.
Yeah, yeah.
So get out there, check it out.
Yeah, you know? And we'll catch you on the
flip side.
Yeah,
side B.
Side B.
Did I ever tell you I met him?
Who?
Go ahead and play the music. I'll tell you on the break.
Oh, see you next week.
What's up, fam? Welcome to Off the Reservation, a show that's oh shoot.
That's all shoots and dangs.
It's all shoots and dangs.
Shoots and dangs.